It all started in the year 1919 when the king and queen had their firstborn daughter. They were so excited and so happy that they decided to throw a huge party and a big feast, and they invited everyone in the land. They even invited 3 out of the 4 fairies to come so they could grant 3 wishes for their daughter. Well, when everybody got there, and after the party, they started the feast. They gave the 3 fairies the nicest plates they had. Well, when they started eating, out of nowhere there's this huge puff of smoke, and the 4th fairy shows up. She's angry in a fit of rage. And she was yelling and saying, "Why wasn't I invited? What is going on?" She thought she did something wrong. Well, the king was like, "My apologies, I'm sorry," and they set her down. But her plate wasn't as nice as the other fairies, so that made her even more mad. And after they were done eating, they started granting the wishes. The first wish from the first fairy was their daughter to be the most beautiful girl in all of the land. And then the second wish from the second fairy was for her to be happy all the time. And then the third wish from the third fairy was her to be loved by everyone. And that's all her parents wanted, was for her to be happy, beautiful, and loved. And that's what she got. Well, then the 4th fairy, since she was so angry, she decided that she should get to grant a wish too because she wasn't invited. So she said, "On your daughter's 17th birthday, she will prick her finger on a needle, and she will go into a deep sleep for 100 years. And on the last day of that 100 years, if a prince does not kiss her, she will stay in that state forever and never wake up." The king and queen were so upset. They told everyone to burn all the spinning wheels, bury them, break them, whatever they had to do. And if they found out that if anybody had one, that they would be jailed. Well, on their 17th birthday, they gave their daughter permission to go wander a town. And she went into this old house, and she saw a spinning wheel. And she just got the desire to go and mess with it. And then as soon as she saw the needle, something just came over her, and she just touched it, and then she passed out. The king and queen were so upset when they found out that they just felt like they had to move on, so they left her in the castle and waited. And finally, after they passed, the fairies waited with her, and then after 100 years, the last day, this man was driving by in his car because it was the year 2019. And he's driving past the woods, and he sees this castle in the middle, and he was like, "That's weird, that was never there before." And all these signs were up, and it said, "One day only to kiss a princess and make her wake up." And he was like, "Alright, I'm going to go check it out." And so he drives down there, and he goes inside because he's really intrigued. And he sees the princess, and he's like, "Wow, she looks happy, and she's beautiful." So he kisses her, and she wakes up, and she is like, "I'm so glad you finally came for me." And he was happy, and she was like, "Let's go somewhere." And he said, "Alright." And then they go outside, and she was like, "What is this?" And he's like, "It's a car." And she didn't know what it was because she had been asleep for the past 100 years. So he's like, "Let's travel the world together." And she said, "Okay." And after they were on the road, traveling the world together, and she looks at him and says, "This is the happiest I've ever been. I'm so glad I came on this trip with you, and I'm so happy you found me."